Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Konrad Gorlinski. Poland's President Andrzej Duda has presented the former German President Joachim Gauck with the International St. Adalbert Prize. The award is handed out every year by St. Adalbert Foundation of Krefeld to a person who is deemed to have made an outstanding contribution to the lasting coming together of Europe as a whole and to the deepening and fostering of neighborly relations between the peoples of Western and Central Europe. This prize is special, just like St. Adalbert, in the way that it binds together Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and Germany. It's not a coincidence that the prize bears his name. As Saint Pope John Paul II stated, St. Adalbert is one of the great patrons of our continent, who laid the foundation for European identity and unity. I'm very happy that it is you, Mr. President, who received the award today. You who have dedicated your life to building bridges in accordance with the Christian tradition of love thy neighbor. And a suspected terror attack took place yesterday evening in the city of Wurzburg in southern Germany. 3 people were killed and 5 seriously injured in a knife attack by a 24-year-old Somali immigrant who arrived in Germany as an asylum seeker in the large migrant wave of 2015. Police stopped and arrested the attacker in the town of Wurzburg by firing a bullet through his thigh. They said his injuries were not life-threatening. Shortly after 5 p.m., a knifeman attacked a number of victims in a department store here in the middle of Wurzburg with a knife. The 3 people were killed by him on the spot, while others were seriously injured. He crossed the street, then went into a savings bank, where he injured more people. Some courageous citizens of Wurzburg stood up and tried to stop him, and the police were on the scene very quickly and had to shoot him a few meters away from the savings bank. The man had lived in Wurzburg since 2015, the year Germany opened its borders to more than 1 million migrants from Africa and the Middle East. Among the 3 dead was a young boy and one of his parents. As is standard practice in Germany, police did not release the name of the suspect. According to the current state of investigation, the suspect is a Somali national who came to Germany as an asylum seeker in 2015. Since he has been living here in Wurzburg, he was most recently housed in a homeless shelter. Videos posted on social media showed a seemingly barefoot man holding a long knife being warded off by other men with chairs until police arrived. Wurzburg, an ancient city of 130,000 people, some 100 kilometers southeast of Frankfurt, was 5 years ago the scene of a knife attack on a train by a 17-year-old Pakistani asylum seeker, in which 5 people were injured, 2 seriously. The European Union has for the first time imposed a wide-ranging economic sanctions on Belarus, targeting its main export industries and its access to finance. This a month after it forced a Ryanair flight to land in Minsk. Even during the mass protests in Belarus in 2020, the Union avoided targeting large Belarusian companies. But Brussels has had enough and is now adding sectoral sanctions against key branches of the Belarusian economy.
The European Union imposed sanctions against business, against systemic and important companies in Belarus, and also added sectoral sanctions against key branches of the Belarusian economy. I mean, the procession of oil and supply of oil products to European Union, and also the production of potash and financial services, provision of capital and access of Belarus to their capital market.
Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has stated that Belarus would show the European Union that its sanctions against Belarus are their powerlessness.
On the United States side, this is about the renewal of blocking sanctions against 9 principal companies, 9 big companies in Belarus, which creates significant obstacles in terms of financial transactions of these companies with the outside world. And what is more important, the threat of secondary sanctions from the US enforcement agencies against those companies who are dealing with the sanctioned ones is quite destructive.
EU leaders were outraged by the interception of the Ryanair plane flying between Athens and Vilnius on May 23rd. Belarusian authorities arrested a dissident journalist and his girlfriend after the plane landed, in an incident which Western countries branded state piracy, since cracking down violently on pro-democracy demonstrations after a disputed election outcome last year. Lukashenko has withstood 3 lighter rounds of EU sanctions and comparable U.S. measures. The first Bitcoin ATM in El Salvador has been inaugurated. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele said in a national address that a recently passed law making Bitcoin legal tender will take effect on September 7th, but noted that its use will be optional. El Salvador's Congress already approved Bukele's proposal to embrace the cryptocurrency, making El Salvador the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Earlier in the day, Athena Bitcoin said it plans to invest over $1 million to install some 1,500 cryptocurrency ATMs in El Salvador, especially where residents receive remittances from abroad. According to Athena Bitcoin's website, the ATMs can be used to buy Bitcoins or to sell them for cash.
I wanted to make Bitcoin easy and accessible to millions of people, and Bitcoin can be very intimidating. And so what we looked for was a simple way of getting access to Bitcoin in a familiar setting.
El Salvador relies heavily on money sent back from workers abroad. World Bank data showed remittances to the country made up nearly $6 billion, or around a fifth of gross domestic product in 2019, one of the highest ratios in the world. This law was made to create jobs, to create investments, and it will not affect anyone, contrary to what the opposition have said. The law will enter into effect on September 7th. Bitcoin will be a legal currency. Unlike what others have been saying, the dollar will still be a legal currency. But what we want to clarify that the usage of Bitcoin is optional. No one will receive Bitcoins if they do not want to. The only cash that works in El Salvador are dollars. Bitcoin does not have physical currency. It doesn't have bills or coins, therefore there is no Bitcoin in cash. So all the cash transactions will still be in dollars. There will be no Bitcoin cash transactions because it is impossible. If you do your transactions via cash, this will not affect you at all. Less than 1% of the volume of global cross-border remittances are currently in cryptocurrency. But in the future, crypto is expected to account for a larger slice of the more than $500 billion in global annual remittances. Thanks for tuning in this evening, and have a wonderful Saturday night.